My name is Natalie. I live in Canada and I live here for almost 4 years. And I kind of struggle a lot with a lot of things while I was doing graduate studies. I did a master at Dalhousie. I live in Halifax, and it's hard for me. It has been always very hard for me to talk about the experience while having this bad feeling inside my chest. It's so hard because it was such a hard experience. But I think this channel can help me to get this out of my chest and accept it and understand and just move on. I think that's really important. So that's why I'm doing this channel. So I did some videos in the past. You can go and take a look. I think there is not more than 5 videos in this channel. And I did when I went back home in March after I finished my master of last year. And most of them are recording with my parents and all of that. So it's like a very happy side of me, for sure. And that's not all about me, for sure. No, it's not. So that's why, I don't know, I want to introduce you guys to me. So basically, I was born in Brazil. I lived 22 years back home, and I came to Canada in 2012 as an exchange student. So Brazil had a program called Science Without Borders. So before, this program was just for graduate studies, but then they changed for undergrad. And then that was the time I came. So I came with a scholarship, everything paid. All the fees from the university paid, all the living expenses paid. We stay in homestay or we stay in university, all of that paid. English school paid for, I did for 8 months because I chose to, but 4 months English school paid. So it was such a nice deal. And Marcial, who was my boyfriend in that time, he really wanted to come. So I told him, okay, let's go. And I came, and I hate so much. It was the worst time of my life ever. Like, even today, even after everything I went through in graduate school, it's still like that time was the worst time. And I think that was the worst time just because I didn't search a lot, or maybe like I was not mentally prepared, and I didn't know what to expect in the same time. And people who are in charge of us, they were not really nice and not acceptable, but flexible to accept us. We came from a different culture. We were all like between 20 and 25, all of us. So we were pretty young. We didn't like drink and did those stupid things, no. But in the same time, we were very stick to who I am, and I need to prove you that I am in this way. And that was really hard for the people who were in charge of the program, get it? Because there was a lot of Chinese and Japanese, but when those culture came here, they decide, okay, I will embrace Canadian culture. And for us, it was not like that. We came in a program, we signed a contract back home that would stay here for 1 year. We would not go home. We were not permitted to go home. Was prohibited, was prohibited to go home. And then I think that put a very heavy weight in the mind of everybody, because it doesn't matter what happened back home, you were not allowed to go. And it was just like a stupid rule. Like I don't understand until today why they had that stupid rule. But that was it. So then it was such hard time for me. And I count the days, I count, okay, I will buy the ticket, and then there is like 120 days. Then I go home. Then 115. Then like 65. Like I counted. And I don't remember counting it. I remember having a calendar and like X all days that were gone. But my Facebook remembers me. So like, okay, Facebook, fine. Like, why you remember me this? I hate so much. So I went back home and I got a very nice co-ops program, like a internship. and I got another one that was way nicer. Then after that I got my job, like I graduated, got a job, and then Marcel was doing his co-op. And he asked me, do you think I should apply for the PhD because I love so much, and if I apply, are you going to go with me? And then I told him, I think you should apply. I think it's important for you to apply because it's something you want to do. And if you get into the program, I will do a master, you know, so I will contact some professors, have something like already kind of go, you know, like ready to go. But I would just go if you get the scholarship. Otherwise, like, I hate that country. Like, I will never go back to Canada. And then, so I was working almost a year in this new company. And me and Marcel, we like lost touch for a little bit. We decided we had grown apart, and then we decided to get a break in the relationship. So it was like, I think it was around almost a year that we didn't talk to each other. Like, you know, like didn't talk, like not me calling him or he calling me, but we would text sometimes, or would, you know, tag somebody else on Facebook. Like, it was not 100% no connection, but at the same time we were not dating. Like, that's important to state. So he called me in my birthday. So he called me one day before my birthday to say that he would call me in my birthday to say congratulations and happy birthday and all of that, because he didn't congratulate me for my new job before. So he said he would call me next day and he would tell me those things. And I was like, but why like you are calling me again? Like, why you don't say those things now? Then he told me, okay, I have something else to say today. That's why I'm not saying that this, like, specifically things today. I will say tomorrow. I was like, okay, what's going on? Like, what happened? And then he told me, well, I got the scholarship for the PhD program in Canada, and I was wondering if you're still going to go with me. And in that moment, like, I felt I can still, like, I was in my car, I was driving back home, so like we talk a little bit, then I parked my car in front, like in the other side of the street from my home, and I was like, what? You got the scholarship? Like, that's amazing, blah blah. And I asked him, like, are you going to go? Because getting a scholarship is amazing and all of that, but it's the same deal, right? You are signing a contract. This time he could go back home and all of that, but you are signing a contract for 4 or 5 years of your life. So it's not like, oh, I got scholarship, I'm going. It's like, no. Like, are you sure? Are you going? And then he told me, yes, I'm going if you go with me. And it was like, that moment I realized, it was like, okay, if I don't go with him now, it's going to be lost forever. This relationship, this love, this commitment, all of it, you know. Or I go and be with him and do the master program or whatever program I'm going to do, or I lose him, because it's 5 years, you know. He's going to maybe even marry back there, you know. That was my thought. I was like, oh, I needed to tough it up and forget about my bad experience and go to Canada with him. That's it. So I told him, I will go if you ask to marry me. And then he's like, okay, do you want to marry me? I was like, no, that doesn't work. I was like, no, for me it works. Do you want it? We will do it. And then I told him, yes, I want it. But then I told him, like, I also want you to call me tomorrow and blah, blah. So I let that sink into my heart. I was like, well, do you think he was, like, talking the truth? Do you think he would actually marry me? Do you think he really wants me to go? It's like, well, so many questions behind that. So that was like my day before my birthday, you know, my night, and then my day, and then he called me again to wishes me happy birthday, and then and I don't know, it was like he asked, and then I asked him, like, are you talking, like, are you being honest? Do you really want me to go? It's like, we didn't speak for almost a year. We didn't see each other. Maybe, like, I change it for something you don't like it, or you change for something I don't like it. Like, we don't know each other, like, pretty well anymore. And he was like, okay, so let's meet. He's like, he's just like a simple guy. And I was like, okay, let's meet. So my birthday is 26th of August, and then we met on the 7th of September, like in the following 2 weeks, because it was a holiday back home. It's like Independence Day. So we went and met, and like everything was the same, you know, like he was the same guy, I was the same girl. Like we changed a little bit, but I think we changed it apart, but for things that complemented us together. And then that was pretty nice and very fortunate of us, because maybe could be the opposite, right? But then, okay, so like that all happened. We came back together like as a boyfriend and girlfriend. Then we bought the flight back home, and like the flight to come here, sorry. And then we came here, and in the end I got a scholarship to do my master, which was amazing because it was a Canadian scholarship I was not expecting at all. The scholarship covered all my university fees, covered all of that, and then give me a stipend for living expenses. I also applied for TA, I got a TA, so I TA for almost the whole master. And that was like nice. That part was sweet. Like if I look back, I was like, oh, that we were very lucky. You know, we worked hard and all of that, but we were lucky in a sense that we got what we want. Really, like we wanted, we fight for it, but sometimes just don't get it. Maybe it was not for you in that moment, but for us was. So like everything was saying to us, yeah, you should guys get back together, you should do this, you committed like 2 years ago to do this, so go and do it. So it's like, okay, right? So we came in December of 2015 to Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. And